Everyone wants to live a long life, but more than that, we want to live a good one. Strong body, clear mind, steady energy, and independence well into old age. Science has spent decades trying to answer one big question. Why do some people live longer and healthier than others? The answers are surprisingly simple and just as surprisingly ignored. In this video, we'll explore what science clearly tells us about longevity and the everyday habits we continue to overlook even though they matter the most. So let's start with what science strongly agrees on. What science says, the foundations of a long life. One of the most consistent findings across decades of research is this: movement matters more than exercise. People who live the longest are not necessarily gym fanatics. Instead, they move often and naturally throughout the day. Walking, standing, stretching, gardening, cleaning, small movements done consistently add up to powerful protection against heart disease, diabetes, and early aging. Science says that doesn't fully cancel out the damage. Another pillar of longevity is nutrition, but not perfection. Research consistently shows that people who live longer tend to eat mostly whole, minimally processed foods. Vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and healthy fats appear again and again in long-living populations. But here's the interesting part. These diets are not extreme, they're not rigid, and they're rarely obsessed with calorie counting. Instead, long-living populations tend to eat moderately, stop eating when they're comfortably full, and treat food as nourishment, not constant entertainment. Sleep is another non-negotiable. Quality sleep is not a luxury, it's a biological repair system. During deep sleep, the body repairs tissues, balances hormones, clears waste from the brain, and strengthens immune function. Chronic sleep deprivation increases the risk of heart disease, obesity, depression, dementia, and early death. Science is very clear on this, but many of us still treat sleep as optional. Stress management also plays a massive role. Long-term stress floods the body with cortisol, which accelerates aging, weakens immunity, and damages blood vessels. People who live longer don't avoid stress entirely, but they recover from it better. They slow down, they breathe, they rest, they connect with others. Their nervous systems get regular breaks. And finally, social connection. Study after study shows that loneliness is as harmful to health as smoking or obesity. Strong relationships reduce inflammation, protect mental health, and even improve survival after illness. Humans are biologically wired for connection, and isolation quietly shortens lives. So if science is so clear, why do we ignore these things? What we ignore, the silent longevity killers. One of the biggest things we ignore is chronic overconsumption. Not just calories, but information, stimulation, sugar, caffeine, and constant dopamine hits. Our bodies evolved in an environment of scarcity. Today, we live in abundance, and our biology hasn't caught up. Eating too often, snacking constantly, and consuming ultra-processed foods keeps insulin levels high and prevents the body from entering repair mode. We also underestimate the power of boredom and rest. Every spare moment is filled with screens. Scrolling, watching, listening, reacting. The brain never truly shuts off. Chronic mental stimulation keeps the nervous system in a constant low-grade stress state. Over time, this contributes to anxiety, sleep problems, and cognitive decline. Another ignored factor is muscle loss. Starting in our 30s, we lose muscle mass every decade unless we actively maintain it. Muscle is not just about strength, it's a metabolic organ. It helps regulate blood sugar, supports balance, protects joints, and reduces fall risk later in life. Yet many people focus only on weight, not strength. Longevity science is clear. Maintaining muscle is one of the strongest predictors of healthy aging. We also ignore oral health, even though poor dental hygiene is linked to heart disease, inflammation, and cognitive decline. The mouth is not separate from the body. Chronic gum inflammation quietly affects the entire system. And perhaps most importantly, we ignore consistency. We chase quick fixes, supplements, and hacks while neglecting simple habits done daily. Longevity is not built in dramatic moments. It's built in boring ones. The longevity illusion. Why we chase the wrong things. Modern wellness culture often promotes extremes, superfoods, miracle supplements, biohacks. Science consistently shows that no supplement can replace basic lifestyle habits. Yet supplements feel easier than behavior change. They offer the illusion of control without effort. We also misunderstand aging itself. Aging is not the problem. Accelerated aging is. Wrinkles and gray hair are natural. Chronic disease, disability, and loss of independence are not inevitable. Many people assume decline is unavoidable, so they stop investing in their health early enough to prevent it. But longevity research tells a different story. The body responds remarkably well to positive changes even later in life. Muscle can be rebuilt. Blood sugar can improve. Sleep can recover. Inflammation can decrease. Simple longevity habits we rarely prioritize. When it comes to long life, science strongly supports simple daily behaviors, yet these are often the first things we overlook because they don't feel exciting or urgent. Walking after meals helps regulate blood sugar and supports digestion, yet most people sit immediately after eating. Eating slowly and without distraction improves nutrient absorption and reduces overeating, but screens often steal our attention. Morning sunlight helps regulate circadian rhythm, mood, and sleep quality, yet many people start their day indoors under artificial light. Strength training 2 to 3 times per week protects muscle mass, metabolism, and independence as we age, but it's often delayed or ignored. Regular, predictable sleep times stabilize hormones and brain health, yet inconsistent schedules have become normalized. Reducing ultra-processed foods improves metabolic health, but many people focus more on counting macros than food quality. Deep breathing or quiet time each day calms the nervous system, lowers stress hormones, and supports emotional regulation. Yet silence feels uncomfortable in a constantly connected world. Maintaining friendships across different life stages protects mental health and cognitive function, yet social connection is often sacrificed to busyness. None of these habits are glamorous. None promise instant results, but together they quietly add years to life and life to years. Even when it feels easier to withdraw, and then doing it again tomorrow. Small, repeated choices shape health far more than occasional bursts of effort. The body responds to patterns, not promises. Final thoughts. Science has already given us a clear blueprint for a long, healthy life. The real obstacle is not knowledge, it's attention. What we consistently ignore has a greater impact than what we occasionally do right. A long life isn't created through dramatic transformations or extreme routines. It is shaped quietly, day by day, through habits that respect the body, calm the mind, and support meaning.